My name is Ryan Myers, and I'm going to teach you how to string a guitar today. First, start off. This is a BC Rich Warlock guitar. It's electric. Some guitars are going to differ from how they get strung up, but for the most part, this is a basic rundown of how you would do it. Now, I've been playing guitar for 10 years, so I've picked up some tricks of the trade. What I usually like to do is lay out all my guitar strings from the biggest to the smallest, and again, they're going to vary depending on what kind of tone you want. Bigger guitar strings give you a deeper, richer sound. Smaller ones give you a higher sound. So you first start off with your E chord, which is the biggest one. And on this guitar, they have a slot that they go in and a channel that it has to ride in for it to lock in. Once you get it through there, you pull it all the way through and feel it, and you won't be able to pull it anymore. Now, it's got a little channel here that it sits on. It goes across your humbuckers and all the way up the neck and into your tuning. Now, you always want to make sure that you put in the slot of the bridge. This is called the bridge right here. Now, what I do is I always pre-cut my strings because I know how long my guitar is, because it's a little easier. New guitar strings, when they come in, they're really long. So what you want to do is just put it through the pin. And then once you get it to where you need it to be, to start turning. It'll obviously tighten up. And you want to make sure as you're turning that everything is staying lined up. See how it would come out of the channel? You just want to make sure you're still in the bridge, and just keep going until the actual guitar string is, you can feel it getting tight. You don't want to over tight because you will break these. I've done it a time or two. Right now for this video is just to show you how to string. Tuning is a whole nother option. But I like to tune it just till you get the right pitch, and then that one's set. Then you go to your next string, which is A, and this is the same thing. You just find the end and slide it through the slot. Pulls out through. Same concept, right in the channel, up the neck, to the bridge. Now, a little tip that might help you is there's your tuning board right here has the slots for the strings to go to. You always have them facing down for you. I mean, you don't have to, but it's just a lot easier. And again, make sure everything lines up. And the same thing follows suit as the first one. Now, you'll notice there is in my opinion, there is a right way to string this. When I put my guitar strings on, I have a certain way. Instead of going to the left, I make all my guitar strings go in from the right and tune up. That way, if I want to tune down, I turn the knob down. And if I wanted a higher tone, I turn it to where I can turn the tone up. That's just my personal preference. There's really no right or wrong way to do it. Next is your D chord. And again, it goes right into the slot. Pull through. Right into the channels, across your bridge, and up through. And again, you always want to make sure, if you do the way I do with turning the knob to the left, so you know you can adjust for your tone for higher and lower pitches. Keep everything uniform because it makes it a lot easier for you. And see, I just demonstrated how not to do that on the bottom. I didn't watch what I was doing, so you just back it off. It's no big deal. It happens all the time. Let's get over your other strings here. channel, up through the neck, across the bridge. And on some guitars, I have there's a little piece here up on the top of your neck that actually will house your strings. Some guitars have them, some don't. You just want to keep an eye out and make sure. And again, you don't have to go overly tight. You can adjust everything with the fine tuner later on after you're done. Next would be your D chord. Again, just slides over. Right into the slot there. Just feed it through. Now, then on this side, you'll actually do the opposite for your tuning. It'll come in on the right side. So again, for me to adjust it to where I'm tuning up and down, corresponding with, the strings, I'll go ahead and turn this one up or down to get to the tones to where if I need to adjust my tone up or down, it's a lot easier to remember. So you just tune this one up. And always making sure you're hitting your bridge, because if you don't, you'll never get it tuned correctly. And it's again, with the channels as well, you always want to make sure you're in the channels. And with these strings, they're real sensitive. It's really easy to snap them. So I don't go overly tight with them. Obviously, the smaller the string, the easier it is to snap. Okay, your second to last string is also the A chord. And again, just like all the others, you just slide it in through the bridge down here, getting through the channel. Sometimes they can be a pain, so patience is also required. So you get them through like that. And again, just like before, make sure that you're tuning it to the same way as the others. That way, for when you do tune it, it is a lot easier. Because there's nothing more frustrating when you're trying to get your guitar ready to play and you can't get it in tune, and that's because you're turning your knobs the wrong way. I don't really like to keep my guitar strings extra long. Some people do in case they snap, but 9 times out of 10 when they snap, you can't reuse them. And again, with these, the littler strings, I tend to not crank them down too much, because again, they'll snap. And then your last and final one is called your E chord. And this one is the pain sometimes because it is so small, and I've snapped many of these because just over tightening. And this one kind of is hard to get in this bridge sometimes because it just wants to keep bending. But once you get it through, just go ahead and pull it where it stops. And go ahead and, again, following suit with the way the other ones are, let's go ahead and put this up through. Just like that. Okay. And again, making sure you're on your bridge here. That's the key part, because, like I said, you'll never get your guitar tuned correctly. Another tip is when you crank one of your guitar strings to tune them up, I like to at least wrap around the peg twice, just so I just find it easier that way, because they'll pull back through if you don't wrap them around twice. So, because you're obviously putting tension on it, and if you only wrap around once, it'll have a tendency to pull back out of the pin. And again, just tune this up a little bit to to where it's not hitting on the fretboard. And you can fine tune your guitar after you tune it with the initial knobs. There's screws back here that you can adjust. Some guitars are longer than others, so again, that's why when they give you guitar strings, they're extra long. But that's basically how you can string a guitar.